What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Collider Interview Studio at TIFF 2024 at Cinema Center, brought to you by Range Rover Sport. I am lucky enough to be sitting with the team behind K-Pops. Congratulations on your movie.
Thank you.
I've done all my research. I'm fans of all of you already. I'm so excited to see the film.
Awesome.
So, I clearly know what your movie is about because it's getting a festival premiere. A lot of our audience is first going to learn about it through TIFF. So Anderson, would you mind doing the honors and giving a brief synopsis of your film?
The brief synopsis. So the film is about a washed up musician played by myself. He goes by BJ, who finds out that his long lost son could be the next big K-pop star. It's played by my real son. And yeah. That's pretty much it.
Loveliest thing ever.
Don't give away too much.
Yeah, don't want to give away too much.
Done.
Oh, I've got many plot details I plan to touch on. But first, I wanted to talk about this being your feature directorial debut, which is a very big deal. And it's not easy to get a green light on a first feature. So do you remember the specific thing that happened, the person you met or resource you required that made you stop and go, like, I'm going to make my first movie now?
Yeah. Well, it all started, in quarantine, doing YouTube sketches with my son and like getting into what he was into. He wanted to do YouTube. He was into K-pop at the time. And so I started, chiming in and helping him out, doing videos with him, editing. And then right then is when I saw like how talented he was and how natural he was. And we started like really bonding like by doing the videos. And I started working on the script where it was like, what if I didn't know I had a son? And I was learning about my culture and I was teaching him about his. And I moved the script around a little bit. And my buddy Johnny Park, he was like, look, I got these people Stampede that are investing into ideas. And I took the deck over to them and met Greg Silverman. And he was like, let's do it. And he was like, you want to direct it? Are you sure? And I was like, yeah, for sure. He's like, okay, we'll be here tomorrow at 7 a.m. for the first meeting. And I tried to cancel the meeting because I was, hungover and stuff. And he was like, let me tell you right now, if you want to get into movies, if you want to direct, you can't be doing that. It's not like the music industry. And that's when I was like, all right, I'm gonna really do this and buckle down. Yeah.
I have many questions about directing now. So you've obviously directed some music videos, but directing a feature film can be a completely different kind of situation. So two-part question about that. What is something about directing music videos that you found coming in handy, making this film? But then also, can you tell me a directing learning curve you experienced directing a feature?
Yeah, with music videos, it's a lot of run and gun and way less budget. So you have to get real innovative and creative. You have to trust your team and have a really good team that you can rely on and empower, and so that you can get these things done and all these different scenes that you want. So I feel like that's the same with the movie business. A lot of like the directors that I really love, they work with a lot of the same DPs, production designers and wardrobe and stuff. So when I was doing music videos, I was thinking about like what kind of team I want and how I wanted to do that. And with movies though, I think it's far more departments and far more fires you have to put out though. And it's about more so like I heard like the hardest thing about being a director is just getting out the car. Cause as soon as you step out the car, like makeup, something's going on in makeup, then production, everything's going wrong. So you just have to be like someone that's cool under pressure and know how to like communicate and be a people person. So I think I
always feel like if getting out of the car like sparks fear in you, it's because you really care about the people you're working with and what you're making, and that's a good thing.
Exactly.
You should hold tight to that.
Exactly.
If you didn't have that fear, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
So it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of him being here as a director being a good thing, I'm going to open this up to the whole cast now. Again, first feature as a director right here. I am hopeful there will be many more in Anderson's future. Can you each tell me something about him as an actor's director and leader on this set that you're excited for more actors to experience in the future?
Oh yeah, I can elaborate. Yeah, as an artist myself, it was like such an honor, and I'm so fortunate to work with Anderson Paak, and just like the whole experience was so much fun. And first and foremost, he made everyone feel so special and like home. We also created like this family bond, and it made us feel like, really safe to just play around. And he brought up really great ideas during the set, and he just brought the best out of everyone. So thank you, Andy.
I think he's very like straightforward in like director's form, like in the director's like when he's having his director's hat on. So like he's very straightforward, so it's easy for me to act and like work on set. So I really appreciate that. And when we were on set, like it was just like it felt like a safe environment for us. for us to just play around and mess around and stuff. It was never like too serious. So yeah, that was great.
Such an important quality to have.
It's interesting because I think because Anderson was doing so many jobs, it feels like there's just one version of Anderson you'll see. But definitely for me, in my point of view, I also got to see different modes he got into. It's not just like Anderson is like this as he's writing, directing, acting. Like for me, especially like, you know, I saw him when we did our family scenes, how he is being a father to Seoul, like really, really making sure like his son is comfortable in these scenes. So I'm watching him in dad mode as a director. And then when, you know, Anderson and I had our scenes, I saw him zero in as an actor. Like I was really seeing that happen, and he was kind of wanting to focus on that. And then when I saw him, I got to kind of watch him do all of the competition stuff. And that was maybe the one snap of like, oh, he's locked in as a director. Like he really can take out the noise. So that was kind of interesting to see. I don't think you get that with directors.
That's so cool. I've been thinking about, you know, you're wearing a million hats on this production, but I hadn't quite considered that dad hat has to be active the entire time too. That's a really special thing to have.
Oh yeah. I think with his directing, the great thing is he's a great performer. So he's giving you ideas how to perform something like 5 different ways, and he'll actually do it, you know? And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, so I know exactly what he wants from you, you know what I mean? And just seeing that mode in director mode it's been crazy, because I've been in the studio with this guy musically and in different fields of performance and entertainment. And like, he really stood up to the plate, you know?
Myself, I worked on the wild card stage. It's this massive stage for our, not to give away too much of our K-pop competition. And there was this moment. So I am not as, you know, talented in the dancing market, but I do come from a classical piano background. And I always look at script in a very musical way. And I remember this one moment being on that stage, being on by myself with all the cameras pointing, and I needed to walk down the stage, say all the lines, hit this camera, look there, and then do this, and then do your arms. And I was trying to figure out all this stuff, and I'm doing this in Korean, very complicated Korean. And I remember that Anderson came over, he's like, slow and smooth, find your rhythm. And he directed me as if it was music. And then I just got it. I was like, okay, take a breath, just own it. And then it was like all the pieces just came together. So it felt like having like a master composer, like a conductor up there telling me how to do all the rhythm of it, and then hit this camera, hit that camera, and then also giving me the inflections on the lines of how he wanted it to be put forth. So it was really wonderful to have him at the helm in that way, wearing all the hats that he does.
I'll stick with you for a minute to start digging into everybody's characters here. So you're the host of Wild Card.
Correct.
There's many singing a competition game show out there. Is there any particular show host that you kind of channeled in your own performance here?
What is that Korean? Remember that one? Pick.
Producer 101.
Producer 101.
Yes, Producer 101.
Producer 101. So I come from a K-pop background. You know, I quit K-pop many, many years ago to pursue acting, and then to come back to Korea as an actor on a film called K-Pops, no less. So I have a lot of K-pop buddies who have then moved forth, my old bandmates as one. I have a buddy from Coyote. They all help me with my Korean, specifically for the show dialogue, very different than Korean dialogue. And for me, they really threw me into that world of Produce 101. I had various Korean hosts that I would look at and on various social medias. And it was just really a picking of various different flavors. And at the end of the day, really wrapping it up in who I am, because I'm not fully Korean and I'm not fully American. And I'm in between the two. And so to be able to bring a character that I have yet to see myself, I'm not speaking broken English. I'm an Americanized Korean who is hosting this game show. It was just an iconic, powerful role to be able to make my own. So it's just a combination of all things.
I love that level of thought. I can't wait to see it even more now. All right, I'm going to come back down to the two of you, because both of your characters in the movie are seeking stardom. So I'm curious to hear how your answers to this question might differ. What does stardom mean to each of them, and why do they want it?
I think for BJ, my character, he has a bit of a chip on his shoulder. He feels that he deserves the stardom and that he is a star already. And it's just up to the people to kind of wait for the world to kind of see that. And he's waiting on his moment. He's always trying to take his moment, real opportunistic. And it doesn't happen for him. And years go by, and then he becomes really like one of those bitter musicians. And so when he goes to Korea to be on the show, it's kind of like his last resort, but he still has it that he's like, you know what? I could still go viral. I could still be that guy. And he's always has that. And I think that's the difference between me and Tae Young. You know, Tae Young is, I'll let him say it, but what he thinks. But when I was developing the character, it's more like he's a natural, you know, and doesn't really, it's not seeking that, you know. He's, I think BJ is more so wants all the glitz and glam that comes with it, you know.
I think for Tae Young, he's more like inspired and like motivated by his dad. So it's like for him, it's less about the stardom and it's more about like the family like bond and stuff. And that's kind of how it is in real life too.
Guys, make me so happy. GL, come your way now. How does she feel about her son wanting stardom, especially given the path that his father had led?
I think she's torn because the reality of her dynamic is she lost someone who was seeking stardom and she doesn't want to lose her son, but she also loves her son. And so it's almost like it's his destiny. It's in his DNA to want the same thing and to be so connected to his father. So I think it just is a reflection of like, what is a mother going to do? Putting aside her history, her pain to be there for her son, as you know, and I think she's also trying to do it differently in a way she couldn't do it in her own relationship with the father.
Can't wait to see more. Kevin, I'm coming your way now because I heard Kong is the best in the competition. What specifically makes him the best, and how does he behave as the best? Is he like a jerk about it, or is he more humble?
Well, I can't spoil too much, but for me personally, I come from the world of K-pop. I was a K-pop idol myself from the early stages of K-pop before it became this global phenomenon. I was in a group called UKIS, and all that experience definitely paid off in this movie. It was like a full circle moment for me, and I think for Kong, this is what he's dreamt of his whole life. And in the real K-pop world, the training process is very strenuous and very long. A lot of K-pop idols train since they're like in elementary school, middle school. So Kong definitely feels like he deserves this. He's worked his whole life up to this point, and he's very, very driven. And that's all I can say.
Okay, I'll take that. Johnny, I'm coming your way with like a big old two-part question because you play Cash in the movie. You're also a producer on the film. And I was reading a little bit. Cash is a character who's kind of helping BJ along. So from a character perspective, how is he helping BJ pursue his dreams and goals? And then also as a producer supporting your colleague and friend in making his first feature, how did you set Anderson up for success as director?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a little bit of art imitating life. You know, we've been friends for over a decade, and I've seen his journey from the beginning, playing at a place like Cash Bar, doing covers. I've asked him to do some embarrassing things musically in the past for a girl I was crushing on. I was like, do you mind playing the drums for this thing I'm trying to serenade? So I've seen his journey in real life to where he's gotten so far, and I think in the movie, he's playing at my bar on the daily and struggling, and I'm just trying to get him to do more things and go out into the world and explore different parts of the industry. And I think sometimes we get so tunnel vision in our dreams that we don't see different worlds and places we can pivot to. And I think I help him kind of see that through the K-pop phenomenon that's happening all around. As a fan of K-pop, I'm putting him on to the culture, and he goes out there and discovers this whole new world, you know. And as a producer, I think it's been a crazy journey for us, coming from music into TV and film. And like he said, we stepped into the office right when we got greenlit for the film, and we walked out like, are we greenlit? Like he literally looked at me and was like, so is this real or what? We weren't sure. It just seemed like a wild thing to go in with an idea. And like he said, he just shared like a few TikToks that he had with his son But even when I saw the TikTok, I was like, there's something there, you know. It was like a hilarious one where he's like trying to explain to Seoul about BT, and he's like, BTS? No, BT. That TikTok right there explains kind of the whole idea of this movie and the cultural exchange we have, you know. So
I love that. As you were saying that about the green light process, I'm like, was that a green light? And now you're here with your first feature at one of the biggest film festivals in the world. That's absolutely wild. Given you've made it through to the finish line, it makes me comfortable asking this question. I caught a quote from you in our press notes that really caught my eye because you were talking about, overcoming challenges, which is pretty much inevitable on any movie. And there's one point where you said, this project was one of the toughest things for me to complete. So I did want to know, was there a particular point in shooting the movie where you stopped and said to yourself, like, maybe it's too tough. I don't know if I'm going to be able to overcome this challenge.
Right. It wasn't necessarily when we started shooting. It was before shooting. I didn't think I could pull it off. Like we were going through scripts, and I was co-writer with Kayla Amazon, and I didn't realize how much work it just took just to get the script to where we liked it. Going through casting and dealing with setbacks, and then the strike, the kind of stop and go of it all, and all the while I'm having to do like tours and maintain my music career. And this takes up so much time. If you want it to be done right, it takes over your life, especially if you're directing it. And before going in production, I didn't think I could pull it off. I didn't know if I had the skill set. I didn't know if I even knew what I was doing. I just thought I bit too much that I could chew. And I remember talking to my crew, Johnny and Kayla, and being like, I don't know, man, like I might have did too much. And then the strike happened. I was like, okay, this is my out. And then I remember sitting down at the house, and I remember, okay, well, I'm gonna ask Seoul if he even wants to do this still, because by it started, he was like 8 or 9 years old when the idea came about, and now he's getting older, and now he's listening to Nirvana and stuff, and I don't even know if he's into it. And I asked him, I'm like, Seoul, do you still want to do it? And he was like, I better do it. I've been in acting classes for months, choreo. And I started realizing, like, yeah, that was the whole reason why I want to do this. I want to show him, like, you have to start something and finish strong, and like ideas come from nothing, and then now look at us. I wanted him to see that experience and be able to experience that with his father and all this amazing cast that we have. So it was then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. And once we got into shooting, I was obsessed. I loved it. I loved like waking up early and getting on set, and tapping in with the actors and thinking about how we're going to conquer this scene, and working with my DP and blocking and all this stuff. It was like being in like a summer camp. I was learning so much and having really good time.
Learning that you're made for it. And I have more proof that you're made for it, because I have one unrelated question that I have to ask you, because you're working with a legend in Michel Gondry. I believe you already shot Atlantis, right? It sounds like such an interesting film. So in case our viewers don't know what it is, a musical inspired by Pharrell Williams' childhood in Virginia Beach. I don't even know what to picture with a filmmaker like that and that kind of logline. So are you able to tease anything in terms of like what that movie might feel like even?
I'll just say Michelle is very French, and it was awesome working with him, because I just rapped like K-pops, and I was coming in from Saudi, and it was awesome to just be able to like not worry about directing and just take direction. And it wasn't a huge role or anything, but it was a pretty meaty role, and it was cool to be on that set with all the young cast and the amazing outfits that we got to wear, the Louis and all this stuff. And Michelle is very like just like, he's a genius, and the way he worked, it was cool to see how he allows the actors to make it their own. It was cool to see that he's, developing things on the spot. Yes, we have a script, but he wasn't afraid to go off script and let people try different things. And, you try a run, and then you want to see like, okay, how did I do? And he's just kind of looking at you. And, he's very playful, very silly. And it was just a fun atmosphere to be in. And it's a musical. I think it's going to be really awesome. And I got to see like a little bit of what they shot, and I came in kind of on the ladder of the shoot, But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it was it was great music, great cast.
That ensemble is
Yeah,
wild.
it's gonna be working with Missy and stuff. It was really
Missy,
cool. Yeah.
When I saw Missy Elliott's name on that list,
Yeah.
couldn't sign up faster for that film.
Yeah.
Very excited for that. Very excited to see K-Pops. One of the things that makes me happiest when conducting an interview when I haven't seen a film is hearing all of your heartfelt, in-depth answers and having my anticipation for your film up in the process. So thank you for that. Can't wait to catch the film. To everybody out there, keep an eye out for K-Pops and also more from the TIFF 2024 interview studio very soon.